Hello, I am Sarah Scheinweber and welcome to AuthorTube NewTubers episode 12. As you probably know if you're here, this is a video I do every other week where I just list off a bunch of new AuthorTubers and put their links down below for you to go and subscribe to them. I also am going to do a quick tag at the end of this video, which I'm calling the Authortube Welcome Tag. It is largely going to be used to welcome and encourage other new AuthorTubers, so that will be at the end of the video, and the list of those questions will also be down below. CJ Raymer, author, writes new adult and women's contemporary fiction. Chloe Bridgewater writes fantasy and YA. Lainey Larson writes fantasy and may write some horror in the future. Sylvan Javara writes erotica, horror, poetry, and fantasy. Next is Monique Diplock. I'm not sure what Monique writes. Jillian Maria writes many genres, but all of them have paranormal elements. Sharon Savington, or is it Sharon Savington? I don't know. Supernatural fantasy in a dystopian future, as well as horror and thriller. Elizabeth Minozzi writes fantasy and sci-fi. Creative writing tips, gives tips for writing crime, thriller, and horror. L.R. Rutherford writes romance. Dal Cecil Runo, another one I might have butchered, writes sci-fi. Next is Emily Ann, and I'm not sure what Emily Ann writes. Write to Speak writes poetry, short stories in all genres, and is currently working on sci-fi. Stax McDuck, who by the way takes my personal choice for best name on the list, writes paranormal and sci-fi and particularly enjoys space opera. Kayla Canoe writes fantasy, sci-fi, fiction, and romance. Oh, this one's gonna, there's no way I'm gonna get this right. Tamar Izajanian is focused largely on Armenian writers both in Armenia and in other countries. The Radical Reader writes fantasy. M.A. Tuomala started by writing lyrics and is now just starting to write a novel and isn't sure what genre they will be writing it. E.J. Mastrocola writes realistic fiction and poetry. Heidi K. Lin writes fantasy and supernatural. And Tabitha Shipley writes YA, fantasy, and sci-fi. That does it for this week's NewTubers, so I am going to start on the Welcome to AuthorTube tag. Question number 1 is, who are you? I am Sarah Scheinweber. I am primarily a horror author, and I do videos about kind of whatever strikes me as interesting. Usually they have something to do with writing, and then I do live streams. What do you write? Oh, I already answered that one. I write horror. Where are you on your writing journey? I've self-published a couple of books, and I'm working on another book, and yeah. Do you have any special training? I have a bachelor's degree in political science. I took a lot of English and writing classes during my time in college, but I don't have any special credentials. How do you find new AuthorTube channels? I have a whole list of searches that I use, and then I sort by date, and then I go through, and I don't subscribe to anyone between my AuthorTube NewTubers videos so I don't miss anyone, and anyone I'm not subscribed to who has under 100 subscribers I add to the list, and then I move on to the next one that is on the list. And so I double check, I check a couple different hashtags and searches in YouTube to find them all and make sure that I don't miss anybody, although I'm sure I still have. Name a video you have watched with a different viewpoint from you. You don't have to necessarily agree with it or have your mind changed, just something that you've watched that you still enjoyed even though it had a different viewpoint from you. I think the biggest one for me would be Alexa Dunn and her whole channel. Alexa Dunn is traditionally published, and just her whole writing journey is so much different than mine. Name one reason you started your channel. I wrote these questions and I don't know the answer to this. I guess it was largely because I had seen other people's channels and I thought that it looked like fun and like I could like bring something to it. When I first started, I wasn't 100% sure how long I was gonna do it. I was like, I'm gonna post a couple videos to YouTube and see what happens. Then I started to really like it. Name one reason you think someone else should make a channel. If you ever watch AuthorTube videos and you think, I could give information they don't have, or I think they're wrong about that, or I think there's other ways to do that, then you should have a channel. Name a new channel you're watching, either new to you or new in general. I just gave you a bunch of them, so go subscribe to all the people down below. Name a channel you think new AuthorTubers should watch. I think Tamara Woods' channel would be really good for new AuthorTubers to watch. There's a lot of content there, both past and present, and there's a lot of advice from kind of all different angles. And then of course this one, because what advice would you give to new writers? Typically I give very little advice to new writers beyond very general advice. I will frequently tell them that they should count on some of their writing being practiced, whether or not they feel that way when they write it. That they should understand that they are not going to be everyone's cup of tea, so they aren't going to be able to make everyone happy, and reiterate to them how important it is to be able to take criticism whether or not you want to. What advice would you give to new AuthorTubers? Do not overschedule yourself. If you schedule yourself too many videos, you are very likely to just decide, screw it, I've already missed a video, why am I going to keep making videos? And then all of a sudden you're not making videos even though you intend to make them just less frequently than you had set up. So don't overschedule yourself. You can always release extra videos, but if you say you're going to do 3 times a week and that's not really possible, you're just going to overwhelm yourself. And the last question is to tag others. I do ask that anyone doing the tag at least someone who has like under 300 subscribers, so that we are still tagging some smaller channels and bringing newer AuthorTubers into bigger AuthorTubers. Not that I'm a big AuthorTuber, I mean, let's be real. So I'm gonna tag everyone I listed at the beginning of the video. Actually, anyone who identifies as part of the tribe, you're all tagged. Tribe tag. Alright, so that does it for today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Do not forget to go down below and subscribe to all of those channels. Tell all those people hello, welcome them to AuthorTube, send them a bouquet of roses. Probably not the last one. So, I'll see you guys all next week for another video game and tag, I think is what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do a video game tag live stream. If you have any suggestions, please link them down below. If you want to see what I have, I am Wordsmith Sarah over on Steam. Add me, I'll add you back. So I'll see you guys all later. Have a wonderful week and good writing. Bye. My cat wants to play fetch. I hear you. I love you. I love you. I'm so proud of you. Good job. Go get it.